The Obama administration's recent placement of troops and military assets along the Polish-Russian border is the largest reinforcement of Europe since the Cold War. The move appears to be intended to bolster NATO, but California Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, who serves on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, believes it is a mistake.
If we want to cooperate with Russia to try to meet some of our mutual challenges, like dealing with radical Islam, we can't continue being so hostile and doing things that they might interpret as being a threat to their own security. Is there any reason why we should be sending hundreds of more tanks and armored personnel carriers, etc., to the Russian border? And if there's not any reason, if there hasn't been any aggression that's been taking place in Europe, why are we doing that?
And doing things that Russia might perceive as a threat is not going to improve the U.S.-Russia relationship, says Rohrabacher.
This is going to be interpreted by Russia as a potential threat to them, as it should be, just as we would think if the Russians were putting military tanks and armored personnel carriers on the Mexican border. This is not a way where we're going to make things better. This will make things worse between our countries, and instead we should be uniting against radical Islam, which is murdering thousands of Russians as well as Americans.
A potential threat that Paul Saunders of the Center for the National Interest, a foreign policy think tank founded by former President Richard Nixon, says is exemplified by the additional military assets on the Polish-Russian border. He believes the new troops contribute to Russia's anxieties about the United States and NATO.
They also create a sense of vulnerability for Russia. They border on Russia, so NATO troops that are deployed in those countries are immediately on Russia's border. They are quite close to St. Petersburg, which of course is really the second most important city in Russia.
Congressman Rohrabacher believes that the timing of the troop deployment is suspect, coming during a period of presidential transition. He says that this last act of President Obama is an example of the overbearing way in which he has dealt with people and Congress over the last 8 years. John Hines, One America News, Washington.